Okay, so growing up, I wanted a 3DS so bad. I had a bunch of friends that had them. I had some cousins that had them. It felt like everybody had them at that time. I thought it was so cool. The 3D without the glasses that you could just carry around in your pocket. And there were new Nintendo games still being released on it. It was expensive to 10, 11-year-old me. For the longest time, I only had a handed down DS from my grandma who only really played puzzle games. So I mean, we still got Professor Layton and a couple crossword and scavenger hunt games. New games and especially new consoles were kind of hard to come by in my household because I didn't really get too much of an allowance when I was younger. There were weekly chores my siblings and I could do for some change, but I think the most you could get for doing it all was like $1, maybe $1.50. And obviously, as a kid, you don't want to go do the dishes or sweep the floor when you could be out playing with your friends or inside playing more video games. So I maybe only got like 25, 50 cents usually, if any. But sometime like 2013, 2014, I learned that the 2DS was only $80. That wasn't too much for young me. I'd have to sacrifice the 3D and the folding screen, unfortunately, but it was a sacrifice I was willing to make. And now I had my mission. I was hard at work taking all the easy chores I could each week. I printed out a picture of a blue Nintendo 2DS, I cut it out, and I taped it to an envelope, beginning the journey to a new handheld console. I put pretty much most of everything I earned in that envelope: birthday money, chore money, Christmas money. Honestly, I don't really know what else I was spending my money on anyway, outside of video games. And after months of saving coin after coin and dollar after dollar, I finally had enough. Since there were a lot of coins, my dad took me to one of those grocery store coin exchange machines to turn them into bills, so I wasn't pouring a jumbled pile of coins and dollars onto the poor person on the other side of the counter. And up to this point, I hadn't even really been thinking about getting games for it. I would just have been satisfied to play around on the home screen applications for a while. I remember just being excited to do just that on the drive home after getting it. At that machine, I took my crumpling months-old envelope and poured all those coins into the machine. It gave me the bills and... It wasn't enough. Now either this was A, because I had miscounted being a small child, B, because the machine took a chunk of it, or C, all of the above. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever know. Needless to say, I was so sad when we had to drive back home. But I wouldn't let that break me for long. I would continue to save once again. Sometime after, I was on the family computer browsing around GameStop when I spotted something amazing. I could get the base original 3DS, pre-owned and refurbished, for only like $120. It was cheaper than a brand new one, and it would take a little longer, but I could get the whole real deal. The 3D, the foldable, portable design. I kept going for months more. My soul had reignited. By the time I had saved everything once again, the actual correct amount this time, I think the new 3DS XL had already released by that time, like a couple months back. But I finally actually had enough. I think. I'm pretty sure. My dad drove me to GameStop, handed over my money, and I got my newish 3DS. The cashier asked if I wanted any games, but I had pretty much spent everything on that. I would just have to survive on Mii Maker, Face Raiders, and AR games for a while. But then, my dad stepped in. Pretty sure I remember him saying something to me like, "Don't always expect this." Now that I think about it, I think he actually said that before covering me earlier because I, again, didn't technically have enough due to something amazing called sales tax. He got me Majora's Mask 3D, a newly released game. Suffice to say, I was pretty happy on that drive home. Hey, future, present editing egg here. I really hope you enjoyed this. It took a lot more work than I had expected, but pretty proud of how it turned out. Pleased to report that the said 3DS is still alive and kicking. I got into it earlier this year, and I bought a bunch of games for it, as well as just another 3DS, because it's just neat. Also, so I could add a few extra things to it. Yeah. Oh, thanks for 100 subs. That's pretty cool. I honestly didn't think I would get that much starting out, but yeah, thank you all. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next video, whenever that is.